So today we're going to have a great talk, but before we do that, I want to share with you. So if it's your first time here, we call ourselves Grow Global. We're going to help you as a real estate agent from all brokerages all across the country, even sometimes internationally. We're going to help you grow your business so you can
Mhm.
grow your network and grow your life. We have a ton of free resources for you to use. One of them is a Facebook page. Our Facebook page is called Grow Global Mastermind Academy. You can ask to be invited to that. We can invite you. We got over 300 members in there. And then we have an Instagram page where you can come follow. We got 300 followers on there where you can check it out, where we're talking about different things that we have available and also what we're going to be talking about. Now, sometimes we do these every Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Now, sometimes on Monday, right? Things are crazy from the weekend as an agent. Maybe you got second showings or you're negotiating multiple offers, things like that. We do record these. I can tell you from experience, you get more out of it time blocking this and being there every Monday, noon Eastern Standard Time live. Why? Because we're live. And when you're live, you can ask questions. You can ask them in the chat. You can raise your hand. We can call on you. You can unmute. You can ask your questions. But more importantly, you can add your insight, your expertise, where you're coming from, what you're seeing in your market, because we're all trying to grow this thing globally. We all work in our own little markets, but we're looking to grow our businesses globally. So we would love to hear from you. To facilitate that, we have a Facebook, I'm sorry, a website. And on the website, we have all different resources on there. But the main one you want to check out is the events tab. And on the events tab, we talk about what our topic's going to be on that Monday coming up. So today, we're going to be talking about the law of large numbers. That's the key to scaling your real estate business successfully. Here's the thing. As a realtor, you're great at selling houses. You're awesome at selling houses. What you're not good at, and I'm not good at, is running a business. That's what happens. You're great at selling houses, but you're not good at running a business. Why? Because math. Math. Who likes math? Not me. No, thank you. I always got in trouble for talking too much in class and interrupting all the other students when they were trying to learn their math. But the law of large numbers, the math behind real estate, is going to apply to you in real estate. It's going to help you scale your business with predictable success. You've got to learn the math behind your growth and how to leverage what's called a reverse sales funnel and why consistency in lead generation leads to exponential results. So I'm going to talk to you about math today. Look, I got something that you haven't seen before. I got a whiteboard we're going to pull up. My first time using it on Zoom. Nobody's allowed to make fun of my handwriting. I look like I write with my toes. It's terrible. I even got on early to try to make it look neat, and it's not. It's not neat, but it is going to get the point across. Now, just so you know, I didn't come up with this. I didn't come up with this. My wife Stacy and I went. We were there with actually Kim Campbell in Dallas at a mastermind, and I can tell you, we were the small fish in the room. One thing I learned in real estate is get into rooms with people who are smarter and more successful from you because what they have can rub off on you. And they had a speaker there. His name was Rene Rodriguez. Rene, if Julie, if you would get his link off Instagram, put it on here on the IG so people can click on this because this is his stuff. I'm literally regurgitating what he had. I took notes like a madman. I recorded it, and I'm bringing it to you. Here's the great news for you. You don't have to spend thousands to get this. We're giving it to you right here on Grow Global for free. And yes, he told us to bring this back to our agents and share this. But Rene Rodriguez has done 30 years worth of sales training, 21 in real estate specifically. And here's what he learned. If you take a large enough sample set, this is what the law of large numbers is, a large enough sample set, millions and millions and millions of transactions across a large enough diverse group of people, hundreds of thousands of agents in all different markets, meaning across hundreds and hundreds of markets, thousands of markets, right? If you take this big, massive set of numbers and you look at it, you can come up with ratios, percentages, a law, if you will, of numbers because the numbers hold true across an average subset of data. Now, here's the thing about the law of large numbers. Did I say the law of numbers or the law of large numbers? I said large. It has to be massive numbers to come up with a ratio that's predictable and that works. And what you're going to see today is exactly that. Across years and years of research, decades of research, millions and millions of transactions across hundreds and hundreds of thousands of agents across thousands of markets, different marketplaces. So does this apply to you? Everybody say yes. Yes, shake your head. Yes, this applies to you. Okay. So we're going to get into it again. No, if I see anybody making fun of my handwriting, I'm canceling the Zoom right away because it is terrible. But we're going to get into it right here. Somebody give me a thumbs up once the whiteboard pops up in front of you. Let me know that you can see it.
It is
Um,
on. I
you can see
see
it. Good.
it. It
Okay.
is
Okay.
on. Looks
Okay.
good.
Beautiful. All right. I took the liberty of writing some stuff out ahead of time because I had to spend an hour writing this so it would look somewhat neat. Okay. All right. This is called a funnel, right? It's a funnel. And we're going to do a reverse sales funnel. What we're going to do is reverse engineer for you exactly what the numbers are. And I'm going to give you the ratios, the percentages, so you can plug them into your marketplace. We're going to use average numbers across the country, but of course your market's different, right? You have a different number, right? A different amount of commission you earn, things like that. We're going to plug this in though across the averages, and then you can go from there. So take a look at these numbers in red. You've got the number 1, 1.5, 2.5, 5, and 25. Does anybody know what those numbers represent? I'll just tell you up front, I didn't know what it was when he put them out there. So I'm going to show you that, and then the percentages that apply to those. So first thing we're going to do here is 1. What is the 1 that we are looking to get? Well, I can tell you what we're looking for is we are looking for sales, right? We're looking for closings. So we're looking to get what will get me 1 closing. And let me write this as neat as I can. I'm going to put the
Looks
word
good.
sale in here. We want 1 sale, right? 1 sale. What is a determined factor, a thing that we need to get to a sale? Again, we're doing this reverse. What do you need to get a sale? Well, people would tell you, you need a contract, right? Are contracts a must? Yes. In real estate, if we don't have a contract, we cannot get a sale. Okay. From there, how do we get a contract though? Do we just think about this and a contract just materializes in front of us? Of course not, right? Everybody says no. What do you need to get a contract? You need appointments. Okay. Oops, my handwriting. There we go. I'm going off the rail with the handwriting. Appointments. By the way, this is all being recorded, so you can just be present and stay with it. You need appointments, okay? But to get an appointment, what do you need to get an appointment? Can you just have an appointment just show up on your calendar today? It just shows up magically? No, it doesn't. You're going to need a thing called leads. Now, there was some discussion during this about what is a lead. Most realtors mistakenly count a lead as just a name and a phone number. They go in on the bathroom wall, they look, there's a name and a phone number, says for a good time, call, and they count that as a lead, right? That's a little joke on there. Hopefully people laughed at that. That's only in the men's bathrooms. I'm sure you don't get that in the women's. But leads, what is a lead? So let's, just so we're having clarification, so we're all talking the same language, a lead is somebody who wants to talk to me about real estate, okay? Once, that's terrible, to discuss real estate. Okay. A lead is somebody who wants to discuss real estate. Did they say they're going to do a deal with you? No. Okay. And then to get a lead, though, what do you have to have? You have to have somebody to talk to. So there are people that you're going to talk to. We call them talk tos. Okay. We're going to be called talk tos. So to get a sale, am I saying it with this ratio, 25 people that I talk to, out of those conversations, 5 of those people are going to want to talk to me about real estate. Okay. From those 5, what we're going to call leads, I should be able to get 2.5 appointments, people that will sit down with me on appointments. What kind of appointments? Both a listing appointment and a buyer appointment. We can get either or, right? When we're doing buyer appointments, basically presentations, right? When you go on a listing appointment, you do a presentation. When you sit down with a buyer, you should be doing a buyer presentation. This is going to be a big aha for a lot of people. You should be getting 2.5 of those for every leads, people that want to talk about real estate. From there, from your 2.5 appointments, 1.5 of those should go into contract. And from those 1.5, you should get a sale. Now, some of you are saying, well, 1.5 contracts, what does that mean? Well, not every person you put into contract closes, does it? You have some fallout. You have what he calls risk. There is some risk in each one. There's some fallout as we go down. So let's take a look over here. What are the percentages? So from one sale, they're saying 66% of your contracts will produce a sale. Everybody follow me on that? These are the percentages over here. 2.5 appointments turning into 1.5 contracts is a 60% conversion rate on there. And also 5 leads. Whoops, loading the whiteboard. What happened? Hang on. Hang on, let me go back to my whiteboard. There we are. Okay, perfect. Beautiful. Something happened on there. 5 leads, okay? Close at 50% to give you 2.5 appointments, and 25 people that you talk to close at 20% to give you 5 leads, okay? So what am I saying? I talked to 25 people. 20% of those will turn into a lead. Somebody that wants to talk to me about real estate, 20% will happen. That'll give me 5 leads. Out of those 5 leads, people that want to talk real estate, 50% of those will turn into an appointment. That's 2.5 appointments. Out of those 2.5 appointments that I sit down with, 60% will go into contract with me to give me 1.5 contracts, and 2/3 of those contracts will turn into a sale. That is an industry-wide number across millions and millions and millions of laws. Now, here's the thing. Some of you are better than this. Some of you have been doing it better. Some of you have a better presentation, right? The percentages will be higher. This is an average number. Now, I'll also tell you some of you are worse than this. And that's okay. That's okay. You can make up for what you lack in skill by increasing the numbers. We're going to show you that in a little bit as far as scaling it, okay? So those are the percentages. Not very sexy, right? When you're looking at that, okay, I understand it. I need to increase the number of people I talk to. Will turn into more sales. Can everybody see that in the funnel? Yes? Well, let's get sexy. Who wants to do some sexy math? Yeah. You want to see some sexy math? What's the sexiest thing out there when it comes to real estate? It's money. Let's talk some money, baby. That's what we're all here for. How can I grow the money? Because I see the percentages, okay, but let's talk the math. Now, let's talk dollars. We're going to use, just for simple math, because I'm a simple guy, we're going to use the average commission of $10,000. One sale produces a $10,000 commission. That's sexy, right? $10,000 in your pocket. If I offered you that stack of $100 bills right now, that's sexy. $10,000. But we're going to reverse engineer this, okay? If $10,000 is converting at 66% conversion rate, if we go backwards on this, what should be the contract's value? The contract's value would be 6,666. There's a lot of sixes in there. What are you saying? I'm saying every contract that you write is worth about 6,666. Does that mean I'll give you $6,666 for a contract? No. That means you bring me 1.5 contracts, I'll give you a check for $10,000. That's what we're doing on this. We're going backwards. Now, let's go up here to appointments. On appointments, we see that there's a 60% conversion ratio on that. 60% of $6,666 makes a little more round of a number. If you round up, it gives you $4,000. Now, some of you math geeks are going, no, Jim, it's $3,999.50. Well, we're rounding it to $4,000, okay? From there, we have a 50%. You see these ratios over here again on the left? 50% on there. So the leads, what is a lead worth? A lead is worth $2,000. 50% of 4,000 is 2,000. Does that mean if you have a lead, okay, I got a lead that wants to talk real estate, give me 2,000? No, that means you give me 5, I'll take it down the funnel and produce you a $10,000 commission check. Everybody follow me on that. This is the law of large numbers to follow this. Good. Kim's giving me the okay. So we're going to keep going. And how about talk tos? People that I talk to. So it's a 20% conversion on that. So a talk to person is worth $400. Now, let's talk about this for a second. $400 for people that I talk to. Now, what is the definition of talk to? Talk to is not standing in the grocery store and saying, hey, I see you got that meat on sale also. Awesome. Have a nice day. That's not talk to. That's not talking to the person. That's talking at the person. That's not conversation with them. Talking to the person is this. I'm going to put this over here. I'm actually going to put it in green because it is very important. It is TMAY. Teammate, tell me about yourself. That's a conversation. Rather than me trying to be interesting, I'm going to be interested in that person. Tell me about yourself. Now, a lot of people get stuck on telling me when I'm saying when you're talking to someone, tell me about yourself gets people stuck. So what acronym do we use to help people get unstuck? And the acronym we use is FORD. Okay, hang on here. FORD. FORD. Or some people use the word form. FORD. Now, we've done entire trainings on this, so I'm not going to get into that right now. FORD is this: family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Tell me about your family. Occupation. Oh, what do you do for a living? And digging in deep. Deep dives, guys. Conversations. A $400 conversation. Is asking somebody about the weather a $400 conversation? No. But that's the surface level that we talk to people. And we count that in our heads as realtors. Oh, I talked to somebody today. No. A conversation is, tell me about your family. Occupation, what do you do for a living? Oh, you're an engineer? What type of engineer? Electrical engineer. Great. What company do you work for? How long have you been doing that? Deep dive, getting people to talk to them. You're interested in them. Now, did I mention the fact that I sell real estate or anything like that? No, I'm being interested versus being interesting. There's a difference. A $400 conversation. If I'm sitting you down right now with a cup of coffee in front of somebody and it's a $400 conversation, what are you talking to them about? We're going to talk about our recreation. What do you do for fun? And then D is dreams. What's the plan? What's the plan? Where are you going to be in 5 years, 10 years? What's the deal? All of that stuff with Ford is intel, guys. It is intel that you are gathering. Dreams, D. Well, little Johnny graduates and we're moving to Florida next year. What's that do to your realtor bell right now? Everybody here right now? Ding, 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 ding. It goes off, right? It's intel that you need. They're moving. They're going to sell, and then they're going to buy in Florida, and I need to refer them, and I need a good referral agent where they're moving down Southwest Florida. So I get paid on both ends, right? Okay. That is the piece that people are missing. Here's what I want you to know. This process is an automated process coming down through the funnel where each step is dependent on the next one. You cannot manifest a sale right now. You can't. Put $10,000 in your hand right now. You can't do it. How about a contract? Can you have a contract show up right now in your hand? No. How about appointments? A listing or buyer appointment where you're sitting down with somebody. Can you just, boom, click your fingers and make it happen? No. And of course, leads. Somebody wants to talk real estate. The only variable you can control is up here, the talk to. It is the only thing that you can control. And here's the problem. As agents, we get it twisted. We get it twisted. We think, okay, I'm going to do 50 transactions this year. I'm going to do one a week and take 2 weeks off. We're thinking down here, the bottom of the funnel. Awesome. Great goal. But how many people do I have to talk to get 50 sales? Well, the answer is easy. What's 50 times 25? That's how many people I have to talk to this year to get 50 sales. So 50 times 25, you come out with that number, bam, and it gives you a ratio. Let's just say you want to do 10 sales because I want to do simple math. I need to talk to 250 people this year. How many weeks in the year am I going to work? I'm going to work 50 because I'm going to take 2 weeks off. And yes, I like to take 2 days off during the week. That gives me 50 weeks to talk to 250 people. I need to talk to 5 people a week on a high level $400 conversation. Yes, I am telling you, every high level conversation you have is worth $400. Now think about this. In our brain, we poo-poo away that conversation. But if I told you right now, I got 4 $100 bills right now today to give you today, if you go have a high level conversation with somebody and say, tell me about yourself. And these are friends that you already have. You just don't know a lot about. Friends on Facebook. Do you know about their family? Do you know what they do for a living? Really know what they do for a living? Not just Facebook stalking them. Do you know what they do for fun? Not what they post on their vacation. Maybe they're just skiing. Maybe they're horseback riding. Find out about them, be interested. And then the big one, D, dreams. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What's the plan? How are you guys going to retire? Oh, you're in your 40s. What's the retirement plan? What are you doing? All of that is intel that you're going to gather. Okay. And so it's very important to know this. Now, for those of you who are newer, just know that you can beat, if you're brand new, I want you to hear this. If you're brand new, you can beat any agent out there. Doesn't matter how long they've been in the business. And some of you are going, wait, how can I do that, man? You guys have been doing this 28 years. I can't beat you. Wrong. Once you understand the power of ratios and the law of large numbers, you can beat the most experienced agent out there. How? Because you make up in numbers with what you lack in skill. You make up for numbers. I'll give you an idea. The seasoned agent talks to 10 people, closes 9. Boom, 90% closing ratio. But you're not that good. You're brand new. And not because you're not a good person, you're just newer. What if you don't close at 90%? What if you only close at 10%? Because you're new. You could talk to 100 people, close at 10%, you got 10 closings. How much should the experienced agent with a 90% closing ratio have? 9 closings. And you got 10 because you talked to more people. You don't have to be the best, but you got to be willing to put in the numbers. You make up, everybody can write that down. So you can put in the chat for me even. You make up in numbers with what you lack in skill. And that has to be empowering to you. Think about that. You can beat anybody with the numbers. Now, here's the thing. Some people give up way too soon in life. They give up way too early. Like, they use the example of a baby. Think about a baby. When a baby is learning to walk, what happens? What expectation do we have on that baby? Do we expect he's going to get up off the ground and walk his first time? No, what's going to happen? He's going to fall down, right? He's going to fall down, going to bump his head, going to scrape her hand. She's going to fall down the stairs. Do we say, you know what? I don't know. This baby has tried to walk 10 times, has fallen down every time. I don't think walking's in its future. I just don't think it's going to happen. Sorry, baby, you're not going to walk. You should just give up on it. Of course not, right? We don't say, we keep encouraging the baby. We stay with the baby. And how long does that baby try? How many times does that baby try to walk? And the answer is until it doesn't. And it continues to get better and better and better. And is it wobbly in the beginning? Heck yeah. Does it still fall down? Yes. Truth of it is, you still fall down even as an adult. You're going to trip and fall. And that's what we need to remember, especially if you're a newer agent and you're in this thing, you're like, man, I'm just not getting the results I need. You need to up your numbers. You need to up your numbers up here. Where? In the talk to level. You need to talk to more people. Because again, this is an average ratio across millions and millions of transactions, across hundreds of thousands of agents, across thousands of markets. So this is the average. When you first get started, are you average? No. No. You suck in the beginning. And guess what? Everybody sucked at everything when they first got started. And they get better and better and better. You didn't ride the bike the first time. You didn't swim the first time. You had to learn. And the same thing goes with real estate. So hopefully, if you're newer or you're not where you're at, you should know it will get better. But you got to increase the numbers. And here's what happens. As your numbers increase, your closing ratio will get better. Your percentages will get better. You'll move towards the average and eventually get above average. And you don't have to do as much work. Oh, what? No, the answer is you don't have to do as much work, or you can scale. You can scale. You can grow your business. Instead of trying to go for 10 sales for the year by talking to 250 people, you go for 20 sales in the year by talking to the 250 people. Same amount of people, better results because you increase on the percentages, okay? So that's the number on this. And what I want you to know is this. You and me and everybody discounts this. So I want you to write down as the number 400 somewhere near your desk on your mirror and realize every person I talk to is worth $400 that I get into a deep conversation with. It is very important that You control this variable. So here's the thing. How do I find people to talk to? Do I stand out on the street corner in a gorilla costume, right? Waving around papers, trying to get people to come and sit down and talk to me? No, right? We're going to find people to talk to in different spots. And here's, whoops, let me see if I can move this down. Da, 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 da. Grab and move. Nope, that's not doing it. You can tell I'm moving this thing. Let's see if I can move this down. Move the controller down. I'm going to put it in right here. Okay. So where do we find people to talk to? Well, here's one spot. How about open houses? I'll put OH on there. Open houses. OHIO. Ohio. Open houses. You can find people to talk to at open houses. How about this? Social media, SM, social media. I can't tell you how many agents, they post something on social media and they sit there and they wait for the sales to happen. No, that's not what social media is for. Social media is there so you can get someone to talk to. You have to have people to talk to. The social media starts the conversation to get you to the talk to point. Some people think, oh, I posted on social media today. Woo! Oh my gosh, I got a post up. I'm done, man. Wow, what a tough day. And they act like that is like they most accomplished the most amazing thing on there. I can tell you this, you're supposed to be doing it 3 times a day if you're an average agent. 3 times a day to find the people that you're going to talk to. Where else can you find people to talk to? Well, mass emailing, mass texting, and mass voicemailing. Okay, we do trainings on these all the time. Mass email, you should be emailing your database. How often? I recommend minimum once a week, right? That's all year long. You're doing once a week. For a month, if you were planning it out, I would recommend 1 as an email newsletter. Number 2, I would recommend that you're talking about something that's going on newsworthy. Rates are going down, rates are going up, inventory is going down, inventory is going up. And then the other 2 weeks, I would do my deal of the week. Okay. Finding a deal that's out there, something that's going on, maybe it's a new build deal or something like that, but emailing, always being in front of your clients. Mass texting, you should have your clients, your sphere of influence, right? SOI, sphere of influence. You should have them on a mass texting campaign. You should be texting them minimum once a month, and normally something to start a conversation. Hey, happy Valentine's Day. Wanted to wish you a happy Valentine's Day. By the way, you can mass text videos. I would put videos into your emails and video into your text. Video. People are watching video. It's going to video. Guess what? You probably don't like the way, if you're like me, you don't like the way you look. You don't like the way you sound on video. My mentor taught me this, Jim, just get it out of the way. If people don't like the way you look or sound on video, they're not going to like the way you look or sound in person. So you might as well just get it over with, rip the Band-Aid off, and have them not like you right up front. That way you're only working with the people that like you. And then, of course, mass voicemails. If you don't know what voicemail drops are, you need to do some research on that. Voicemail drops, you create one voicemail, you put your credit card in, and you can send a voicemail that skips ringing their phone and drops right into their voicemail. Make it something nice, make it something friendly, make it something relevant to what's going on right now. Happy first day of spring. Coming up in April, April Fool's voicemail or something like that to start what? The conversation. This is where the sales funnel starts. Talk to. But to get the funnel, we got to have these things. Which one of these should you be doing? The answer is all of them. You should be doing all of them. Some people do Popeyes. Popeyes. Ooh, that just made me hungry saying Popeyes. Extra spicy for me, please. Dark chicken. That's what I like. But Popeyes. Some people do Popeyes. Some people do open houses. Some people do first-time homebuyer seminars. People say, which one is the best one? The answer is yes, all of them. The most important one is the one that you do, that you actually do. The action that you take is the most important one. You have to take action to get people into the funnel that are willing to talk to you on a high level. From talking to them on a high level, they are going to know that you are interested in them. From there, those 25 people you talk to are going to be interested in talking to you about real estate. Is everybody going to be interested in talking to you about real estate? The answer is no. Is that okay? No. We're looking for these 5 that do want to talk about real estate. From there, you'll get those people to sit down and do an appointment with you. Now, here's a little something here that will rattle some of you. Almost everybody on here has a listing appointment presentation that they do. If you don't, your broker or your team lead or whoever you're with should have for you, guys that are newer, listen, don't wing this. This appointment is very important. You had to get this down. You should have a buyer presentation. In the old days, guys, we used flip charts. Flip charts. How many of my seasoned veterans remember the flip chart days from 25 years ago, right? When you flipped, you had a flip chart, and you flipped through and you went through the next slide on it. Now you just got it on your iPad. You can flip through, boom, and it's crystal clear and beautiful, not all faded out in the old days like we used to print it off. You need to have a listing presentation and you need to have a buyer presentation. Why are some people having a hard time with the BBA? Because they're not doing a buyer presentation. This is their buyer presentation. They get a lead that wants to talk about real estate and they say, okay, which house do you want to go see? That's their buyer. That's their buyer presentation. Hey, which house do you want to go see? Bad news. Bad news. How much is that buyer presentation worth in our example? Everybody say it out loud. $4 grand. $4 grand. Do you just want to wing your buyer appointment and say, hey, let's go see this house? It's a bad move. Bad move. Okay. From those listing and buyer appointments, you should be able to get 1.5 contracts, which should give you one sale, $10,000. Okay. Now, Ryan, the realtor, says, what were the 4 things to consistently send the whole database weekly that I first mentioned? It was emails, mass emailing. I'd send 1 email a week at the same time every week. Maybe it's Wednesday at noon, whenever it is for you, but keep it consistent. I would send an email newsletter that talks about you and some things in there, maybe rates and things like that. I would send 2 of the weeks, 1 each week. I would send the deal of the week, and then I would send them something relevant 1 week. Rates are going up, rates are going down, inventory is going up, inventory is going down, something that applies to your market area where you're working, because everybody's just different, right? I would send that out so people know to look for it on there. Why do we do all of these things up here? Because the return on them is so small, less than 1%, to get people that are going to want to talk to you, to start a conversation. Now, conversations, some people say texting back and forth is a conversation. I think people need to hear your voice. We're human beings. I think texting back and forth works great to get to this point, to get people on the phone, to get people on a Zoom. If you can get people to see your face, belly to belly, your percentages will go up. These percentages up here will go up drastically if you can meet them for a cup of coffee and sit down and get them to talk to them about their life, what's going on with them. They're going to want to do real estate. You're going to get more leads out of it, which will get you more points, which will get you more contracts, and will get you more sales. Does everyone understand what that means? Conversations. We are human beings. AI is not going to replace realtors. AI is going to go up here. AI is going to be used to get you to more people to talk to, more conversations. What's the first thing a baby learns to recognize? Mama's voice. Mama's voice. In mama's belly, that baby knows mom's voice. When it's born blind, right? It doesn't know mama's face, never seen it, but it knows mama's voice. We are trained in our amygdala, in our brain, to hear voices and understand it. The next thing a baby learns to recognize is the face. Face. We are drawn to faces. That's why you got to put your face on everything, because people feel like they know you. On your open house signs, on your business cards, on your Facebook page, your face needs to be there, because babies are drawn to faces. That's the second thing they learn to recognize. And babies learn very young, before they ever learn how to talk, they learn how to mimic the adult's face, because when they learn how to smile, they realize, ooh, when I smile, this big giant monstrosity in front of me will feed me, will pick me up more, will clean me more, and be nicer to me if I learn to smile. And that's why babies learn that. And that's why we're drawn to faces. Okay. So does anybody have any questions? Boston Henderson says, yeah, AI will enhance our ability to service clients. True. AI right now is your opportunity to get more conversations. Okay. That is the big key to this thing. Tell me about yourself is the biggest question, open-ended question or statement that you ever ask somebody. Pay very close attention when you ask that question, because tell me about yourself. The first thing out of their mouth is going to be what's important, most important to them in their life. Tell me about yourself. Well, I'm a mom of 3 kids. What's most important to them? Family. Well, I'm vice president at such and such manufacturing company. What's most important to them in their life? Their occupation. Tell me about yourself. So I'm a semi-professional snowboarder. What's most important to them? Recreation, right? That's their occupation, but that's their recreation. Or I'm a hiker, right? We know what's most important to them. And then dreams. Tell me about yourself. Well, I'm going to be retiring in 5 years. I'm going to be moving to Central America. We know what's most important. Which one of those is the proper one? The answer is whichever one they talk about first. That's what's most important to them. So you go in talking to people and maybe immediately hone in on their job when the most important thing is their grandkids. You missed the connection, which can improve your percentages over here. Does that make sense to everybody? Who has any questions? Oh, Tracy Boss Moves Wiggins has a thing. It says it will spit out a year's worth of newsletter, neighborhood areas, spring cleaning news, and recipes, etc. There's a way to have it done for you. I would recommend anything you have done for you, you personalize. Get yourself a video, your own video of yourself in there talking to them. They need to hear your voice, see your face, right? The old days, oh, it's AI, beautiful. The old days of sending magnets and things like that, right? The magnets, why did it work? Because people put the magnet counter up there. But where did it have? It had your mugshot on there. It's more important nowadays that they also hear your voice and see you move to start what? More conversations. So let me ask you this, and I'll wrap up with this. Let's say your brain is discounting this $400 number. It's easy to do. You could think right now, like $400 to have a in-depth conversation with somebody, that seems a little high. Just doesn't seem like the math would be on right that. Okay, what if I'm half wrong? What if it's $200? What if it's $200 to have a meaningful conversation with somebody? And the worst thing that can happen out of it is you make them feel heard and understood. They say that if you know FORD about somebody, family, occupation, recreation, dreams, you know more about them than 99% of their friends. Think about that. The average person knows 16 realtors by first name. Which one are they going to pick when it's time to do their real estate transaction that they do once every 8 years? They're going to pick the person that knows the most about them, right? The one they feel most connected to. And when they come across a referral, because you're going to teach them how to do referrals, who are they going to send those referrals to? They know all these agents. They're going to refer the one that they feel most connected to, that made them feel the most heard, the most understood. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. It's a saying, everybody's heard it, but it's worth writing down. They don't care how much you know until you know how much you care. That's by talking to them. This is the most important part, and also it is the only part that you can control. Okay? So here's the thing. We've got to get back to basics, back to the fundamentals. And the problem is this. We get so wrapped up in here, in the technology, in the AI, and the mass emailing, the mass texting, right? We get so wrapped up in that. And we think that part is what's going to give us a sale. We forget to talk to the people, right? Facebook birthday messages are a great way, video messages through Facebook Messenger, to start a conversation, because people are going to respond very favorably to it. Instead of just putting HBD on their wall, happy birthday, or sticking a GIF on their wall or whatever, you send them a video through Facebook Messenger. They're going to respond favorably. And then from there, you initiate the conversation. Hey, I know today's your birthday, and I hope you have a great one. Would love to catch up with you sometime in the near future and see what's going on in your life. What did I just show? I showed interest in them. Why are people on social media? They're looking for what? Validation. They want to be heard. They want to be seen. Why'd they put their dinner? Why'd they put their breakfast on Facebook? Why'd they put it on there? Because they want somebody to start a conversation with them. And that's how you want to do it. You want to do something great when somebody has an anniversary, or, worse, their dog dies, and they put it on there. They're looking for sympathy. They're looking for comfort. Yeah, you can write something on their wall, but how about sending them a heartfelt video message? Ask them if they want to talk about it. And if they need to get out of the house and grab a cup of coffee, your friend who's pouring their heart out, their tears over their best friend, their four-legged fur baby dying. You want to, first of all, you want to comfort them as a human, right? But who do you think they're going to use when it's real estate time? If you took them out for a cup of coffee, get them out of the house and gave them a big hug when their best friend died, their dog, right? Their cat, or in my case, my raccoon, when that day comes, right? I expect everybody to come to Columbus and give me a hug when my raccoon goes. But this up here is how you get to the conversations. Anyways, I've pounded that in, but this is where I see agents getting stuck. They're doing this stuff, but they don't push it towards the conversation. This is where the sales funnel starts. And it's a $400 meeting. Treat it like that. Oh, you might have to buy them a cup of coffee. Okay. What's the return on a cup of Starbucks? Pretty good. Okay. Who's got questions? Who wants to raise their hand, unmute, or anything like that? And then I think Big Rob, you were going to talk a little bit about some lead gen and things like that. I think that's where we were going with from this. Kim Campbell says conversations over and over and over again. Boston Chase, what an awesome name. That is Boston Henderson. I'm scrolling through here. Personalize it, Tracy says. We're talking about that. That was from the neighborhood area news and recipes. What else we got in here? AI is going to help. Yep,
yeah.
Conversation. Yes, go ahead. Unmute, go for it.
Hey, yeah. Yeah, so I was just saying that if we use our ChatGPT, because sometimes it's very hard to think of ideas and stuff. So if you go to ChatGPT and just say, hey, write me out 12 newsletters, of course, you really need to let ChatGPT get to know who you are. Tell ChatGPT your vision, your motto, whatever it is, tell me you're a realtor. And then you say, cater 12 newsletters that I can send out once a month to my clients, or tell me 12 recipes I can send out once a month to my clients or something, and it will really spit it out. So it's really cool. Just want to let you guys know that.
And something we learned also that everybody can take from here, since we're all into tech now, is perplexity. Perplexity. So ChatGPT takes its information from Bing, B-I-N-G, Bing. ChatGPT, major investor is Microsoft. Microsoft owns Windows. And of course, what is that? The Edge browser, and also the Bing search engine, right? Perplexity is plugged into Twitter, where you're getting live conversations going on, and also into Google, right? So where's a lot of the searches going on? So if ChatGPT is starting to sound repetitive, like every other agent is using ChatGPT, right? It's because it's using a smaller database off of Bing. You can take a look at Perplexity and try that also. I love ChatGPT. I actually look at both and take a look, especially when I want something a little more unique. I'll look at Perplexity on there. That was a little tip we got from Tom Ferry on there, and I thought it was great. So how can you start a conversation with first-time homebuyers? I'll give you this. I'll just keep going with this in case Rob wants to jump in or anybody else wants to talk. But Renee said this, Renee Rodriguez, he said, a great way to start a conversation with a first-time homebuyer is this. You ask them a question. Hey, do you know what net worth is? And they can answer that question. If they answer yes, you can write it down and take that information, because it's good understanding what it is. And if they say no, not really, you can explain to them that net worth is what you have left over after all of your liabilities are paid. What are you worth? What is your value that you have? And then you can ask them to say, do you know the number one way that the average American grows their net worth? You can ask them that question. And the answer we all know as realtors is what? What's the number one way that a first-time home buyer can increase their net worth? And for the average American, what is involved in? Everybody say it all at once. It's home ownership. Now, here's the stats of what you need to know, because you're going to want to give them some stats. You can say to them, do you know the average? This is a question. You're leading the conversation by asking questions. Never ask a question you don't know the answer to, right? Just like an attorney would do. Do you know the average net worth of homeowners in the United States of America? They may not know that. They might. They're really up to do it, but I didn't know it. None of the realtors in the room knew it. It's $396,000. The average net worth of a homeowner in the United States of America is $396,000. Then you ask them this question: do you know the average net worth of a renter in the United States of America? The average net worth is $10,000. The average net worth of a renter in the United States of America is $10,000. The average net worth of a homeowner is $396,000. It is 44x. You are 44 times more net worth as a homeowner than you are as a renter. Then the question can be is this: would you like to talk about how would you like to increase your net worth? And they're going to answer yes or no, however they answer. Some of them are going to answer yes. You say, great. When do you have 15 minutes for us to get together and talk about increasing your net worth? Which we all know is going to lead to what? We've already set it up. Home ownership. Here's what's happening, guys. We have to fix what's going on in this country. Do you know first-time home buyers, the average age has gone from 28 to 36? What are we doing to our young people? 36 before they get their first home? They're never going to build net worth at that rate, right? Because time is more important than the money you put in when buying property. We got to get it back into the 20s, and it is up to us as agents. We are the answer to transform lives and help people create generational wealth so they can move. They can move up in classes, right? We can take people who are lower class, get them into middle class. The next generation of that family can go from middle class and move to upper class through home ownership because the transfer of wealth. But we are the facilitators of that. How much better is that conversation than just saying, hey, you want to go see a house?
Right.
There you
Hey,
go,
Jim,
Rob. Go for it, Rob. Jump in.
A
Thanks.
great talking point for net worth is when you're talking to someone and say, hey, if you're renting, you're building your landlord's net worth. If you're owning, you're building your own net worth with the same dollars. Which one would you prefer?
That is awesome. That's great because it helps people get into the mindset. It absolutely does that. And then we need to start normalizing the concept of starter homes again. Starter homes is not a home that you're going to buy and you're going to live in it for 30 years. You're going to sell it and you're going to upgrade statistically 82% of you within 3 to 8 years. But if we don't get you in the game, we can't start the process. We got to get you in now. Somebody taught me this. Have people make a list of their 10 needs. Write it down on paper. This is during the buyer presentation, by the way, which we earn how much for a buyer appointment presentation? It's a $4,000 appointment. Okay? Does a $4,000 appointment, is that something that you get done in 5 minutes? Does that sound like you really earned $4,000 for that? No, you spend some time with them. But have them list on paper, write out the 10 things, top 10 things that they need to have. And say, okay, so here's the great news. When we get you your dream home several years from now, you're going to get 8 of those 10 things. We'll get you 10 of them about 30 years from now. But for right now, we're going to get you 1 or 2. What's your number one thing that's an absolute must-have on this list of 10? I got to have 3 bedrooms. Great. Bam, bam. You put a star next to that. What's the second thing? If we could get it for you, what's the second thing that would be your must-have out of this list of 10? They put it there. Say, great. You put a little plus sign next to there. And if I really did like over the top crazy and we got nuts and found a needle in the haystack, what's the third thing on there that possibly we could get for you in this first starter home? And they're going to mark that. Okay, great. Let's go to work getting you this right here, the 3-bedroom. Let's find you that and get you started. Because the reality is what's going to happen is each house, as we move you up, is going to get more and more things on the list. And that's what you do in the buyer appointment. And that's how you get going. If you're newer and you're looking to get going, first-time home buyers is where you're at. 39% out there of the sales. 4 out of 10 of the transactions were first-time home buyers, guys. You got to get in that game and get it. And here's what my mentor taught me a long time ago, decades ago. Grow with your network. Grow with your network. Get started. If you're new, I count new as anything less than 5 years. You've been in less than 5 years, I count you as new. You grow with your network. You get in with the first-time home buyers because it's a quick turnaround. 3 years, they might be selling and upgrading. Now they're a list and a buy.
Mhm.
2 transactions for 1. And you keep filling the funnel with that. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, that's what Brian Buffini would teach us years ago about building your database. Because if you build your database strong from the beginning, then that will pay you dividends years down the road. But you got to work that database. You got to find those first-time home buyers, those people you can work with now, put them in your system, help them find houses, and then in a few years, like you said, they will change for different reasons, but statistically they sell, right, for different reasons. Sometimes they keep their homes and buy another one as an investment. That's great too, but typically they will sell for different reasons, whether it's upgrading the house or needing to move for a job, needing to move for family situations, needing to downsize, whatever, they are changing. So that's where over time you build a really strong database and you continue to grow it. Years down the line, that's going to pay you a ton of money.
And it was glad you brought that up, Rob, because they talked about that actually in the training. They said, how many of you go out, you talk to somebody, said, hey, we should catch up and talk about some real estate. You write it down on a cocktail napkin and you get home, you stick it on the counter, and a day or two later, you go looking for it and you're like, honey, what? There was a napkin here I wrote on Bob's name and a phone number. And honey's like, oh, well, I think I threw that away. I thought it was trash, right? It had some coffee stains on it or some bourbon stains on it, right? How much is a lead worth? $2,000. If you can see
Mhm.
my arrow on there, it's 2,000. That's somebody that wants to talk real estate. That's a $2,000 cocktail napkin. What were you doing putting it on there and then bringing it home and setting it on the counter? Would you do that with $2,000? Would you leave it laying on the floorboard of your car? No, you take it. You would covet it. You would know this is $2,000. If I get 5 of these, it's going to spit out for me $10,000. And this is where the numbers, once you understand the numbers of real estate, you start taking these appointments more serious.
That's right.
The thing I got out of it was this. I need a listing presentation and a buyer presentation. What am I doing with a buyer just saying, hey, let's go jump in the car and go see it? Oh, and then you get there and they don't want to sign the BBA, buyer broker agreement. Why? Because I didn't treat it like a $4,000 appointment. I just treated it like, whatever. Let's go. It's kind of like a loan officer taking a loan, go, okay, what's your social security number? But yet the loan officer wants to make $4,000 or $5,000 on that loan. And then they don't get the loan because the buyer shops them. And that's a whole other thing for buyers, right? It's because they didn't connect with them. They didn't do a presentation. They didn't actually treat the appointment in the value that it was worth. So everybody here should have a listing and a buyer presentation, and you should find one that you work with and that you get that converts, and then you do it every single time. Why?
Well,
Because you know it's worth $4,000. Go ahead.
Well, one important thing is to have you a system in place ahead of time that when you get a lead, what do you do with that lead? Where do you put it? What triggers do you put in for reminders? Make sure you have a system that every time you get a lead, you follow that so that you keep up with those people. Because a lot of times people reach a certain point in their progression of their lead, and then they drop the ball or they say, I'll remember later, and you don't. You have to put it in some type of program. A lot of our agents use KV Core, but you can use any type of CRM system. But put it in the system, put notes, and trigger a response for you to do something with that lead at a certain point in the future, and it reminds you to do it. Make sure you take action on that and remind you to.
Writing down your name and phone number of the person you'll be working with on a yellow pad of paper and leaving it there is not how you would treat a $2,000 item.
Right.
That person who wanted to talk to you is worth $2,000. You need to treat it like it is. You need to baby it. You need to cover it. You need to hold it like it's a piece of gold. Going and putting it into your database. And then if it's really a $2,000 item, should you also put their spouse's name in? How about their dog Fluffy? How about their kid Johnny and Johnny's birthday? And what's their anniversary? Should that lead, if it's really worth $2,000, shouldn't you be putting everything about that lead and updating your database with it? Not just
the notes,
their name and phone number.
The notes about your conversation in there, because you can go back later and remind yourself what you guys talked about.
They don't care how much you know until you know how much you care. Look, once we get past our egos as realtors with egos, we don't have egos. What are you talking about? Once we get past our ego, we have to realize we're a commodity, guys.
Mhm.
We are a commodity. And here's the thing, 10% of the agents make about 80% of the money in real estate. Why? Because they have more meaningful conversations than anyone else. They connect better with their people. They don't have anything magic, nothing. They just connect with their people, and they build a loyal following of fans that will not go anywhere else when they do their real estate transaction. And if anybody within a 5-foot circle of them mentions real estate, they will grab that person by the ear and say, you got to meet my realtor XYZ. And those are the ones that win and last longevity and get more free time and don't have to work as hard. Marcy says she's recommended a CRM that allows you to have a phone number through it. Keeps all notes and everything automatically in one place. Now, I've seen this stuff coming through where they transcribe the conversation. Very, very cool stuff, Marcy.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing that. That is incredible that's in there. I think once you start treating your leads like they're worth $2,000, you'll stop being aggravated that you need to update the CRM. You're going to be excited to update it because each one of those in there, the bigger I grow that lead, the more information I put in, the more I'm valuing it, that lead as it comes in. And again, a lead is not a name and a phone number. This is somebody that wants to talk to you. They want to talk about real estate. That's a lead. Now, if you talk to IT or something like that, they'll tell you that a lead is just a name and a phone number. No, that's up here. That's up here, right? If you have a lead gen system, maybe it's Zillow, maybe it's a funnel that you're running or things like that, all of that's up here. But then you got to get a way to talk to them. You got to talk to these people. And from there, the funnel starts. And that's it. So we're about wrapped up on time. Anybody question? Anybody excited? Anybody sick to their stomach a little bit about how they've been treating their leads? Anybody sick to their stomach that they don't have a buyer presentation or a listing presentation? The answer is good, because this is the last thing I'll leave you with, and that's this. Awkwardness is a requirement for growth. If you're going to grow, you got to feel a little awkward. You got to bring something in that's uncomfortable, because these are big numbers. Big numbers. You got to talk to people. Those conversations with $400. Those people that want to end up out of that want to talk about real estate are worth $2,000 each. You got to baby them and get them in a CRM and update it all the time. And then out of there, you're going to get some appointments. You got to have a great presentation, a listing presentation, a buyer presentation, because that appointment's worth $4,000. You do enough of those, you'll end up with a contract, which some will fall out, but they will end up with a sale. And anybody can reverse this based on where your location is. Some of you, your average sales price is higher. Some of your average sales price is less. The numbers still hold true. You just got to change the variables going in down here and work the math backwards to see what it's worth. So if your average commission's a $5,000 one, then these contracts are worth $3,300. This is worth $2,000. This is worth $1,000. That's worth $200. There's the math, just like that. So thanks, Kim. I appreciate that. Appreciate nobody making fun of my chicken scratch handwriting. This is actually the neatest I can write. That's the neatest.
It's
So
awesome. It looks amazing. Your
I got in
energy.
trouble for talking too much in school, and I got in trouble for my handwriting was terrible.
Hey, yours is better than mine.
All right, good. I want to see yours
Wow.
someday.